Legal disputes, legal proceedings, and lawsuits are a regular occurrence. Although some court decisions and court trials make us happy and give a society a reason to believe in lawsuits, others, well, they make us cry. Stay tuned to the end of the video and you will be emotionally moved. Probably. Hey everybody, hope you all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. And if you could, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed and press the bell icon to join our little family. Yeah, that's not weird. With that, let's get started. Number 5. Arthur Booth. A video of the touching reunion reveals that a Florida man sobbed when he realized the judge and his bond hearing was a classmate from middle school. Miami-Dade County Judge Mindy Glazer and her high school classmate Arthur Booth finally crossed paths after many years apart while sitting on opposite sides of a Miami, Florida courthouse. Arthur Booth was appearing before Glazer at a bond hearing after being detained on suspicion of breaking and entering. The judge and the defendant both realized that they had been classmates in middle school when he came before her. When Booth was released from prison on a special court program after spending nearly 10 months in jail, the two met again under very different circumstances. As Booth stepped out of the jail, Judge Glazer met him with an embrace and some severe words. "You're going to take care of your family, get a job, and stay clean," Glazer told Booth. Arthur Booth, like many youths, envisioned a successful career. He told friends and relatives that he wanted to become a neurosurgeon since he was gifted in math and physics. But nearly 50% of Booth's adult life has been spent in prison. He became involved in petty crime as a result of his gambling and cocaine addictions, which drove him to look for quick cash. On the contrary, Mindy Glazer's goals for college were to become a veterinarian at first, but then she changed her mind and decided she wanted to go to law school and become a renowned attorney. The burglary suspect, who was moved with emotion upon seeing his old friend Booth at the highly unusual school reunion, sobbed. Over 7 million people have viewed a video of this event. Number 4. Daniel Villegas. Laura Nereeder and Steve Dreesen, the hosts of the documentary series False Confessions, examined the triumphant and heartbreaking tale of Daniel Villegas, a man who spent 25 years in prison after being wrongfully convicted of murder at the age of 16. When he made a false confession following hours of brutal and threatening police questioning. Panic engulfed a whole neighborhood after 4 teens were shot while returning home from a party in El Paso, Texas in April 1993. Villegas was caught up in the social media and the law enforcement maelstrom surrounding the Good Friday shooting. 2 of the youngsters were shot dead while running and escaping. No one was connected to the crime by DNA or other forensic evidence, according to police. Villegas was additionally threatened with beatings, sexual abuse, and the death penalty throughout the 5-hour all-night interrogation. Villegas signed the investigators' typed confession out of exhaustion and fear, but it featured obvious discrepancies with the time and the crime scene evidence and other young men's stories that had been questioned. Villegas instantly backtracked on his admission as the questioner left the room, but he was nonetheless detained and accused of capital murder. Furthermore, Villegas' distant cousin and companions later withdrew their accusations against him during his initial trial in December 1994. The young man had emotional issues and might have had a mild mental impairment, according to testimony from a forensic psychiatrist, and the trial concluded with a deadlocked jury. In the subsequent trial that took place almost a year later, Villegas was found guilty and given a life sentence. The 8th Court of Appeals denied his 1997 appeal. On October 5th of 2018, Villegas' 3rd trial resulted in a verdict of not guilty, and he subsequently obtained his freedom. Villegas turned down the El Paso County District's Attorney's Office offer of an Alford plea agreement just hours before the trial started. The deal would have allowed him to maintain his innocence while pleading guilty to obtain time served and avoid going to jail. As Judge Sam Medrano of the 409th District Court pronounced the not guilty verdict, Villegas collapsed in tears. Number 3. Salahuddin Jitmoud. To the Walnut Hill apartment building on Trent Circle Road, Jitmoud delivered a pizza. But Jitmoud was robbed and fatally stabbed. The 22-year-old was discovered by investigators resting in an apartment building breezeway. 3 people were detained by the Lexington police for the offenses. Relford was the one charged with homicide, evidence tampering, and robbery by a grand jury. On October 26th, Relford entered a guilty plea to helping commit murder, helping commit robbery, and trying to tamper with evidence. During Relford's sentence, members of Jitmoud's families were addressed in court. Dr. Sombat Jitmud characterized his son as kind, giving, and reserved. On the night that his son died, his father testified in court. He had one more delivery to make before returning home. Speaking to Relford, Dr. Jitmud said that, while he didn't hold him responsible for the loss of his son, he did extend his son's forgiveness to him. Dr. Jitmud begged Relford one final time before leaving the witness stand to tell police who had slashed his son's throat. The judge had an emotional outburst in court after receiving the request and ordered a break. Dr. Jitmud received a message from Relford's mother informing to him that she accepts full responsibility for the death of his son. She also expressed her sincere regret for the tragedy. The forgiveness had startled her. Relford addressed the victim's relatives in front of the jury. Relford and his family hugged Dr. Jitmud and his family as he wrapped up the message. Finally, the judge gave Relford a 31-year prison term, and Relford expressed regret to Jitmud. Number 2. James Roeder and his wife. A Kentucky judge took part in an emotional courtroom moment when she watched from the bench as a burglary suspect held his newborn son for the first time. James Roeder and his wife Ashley, who both are crime partners in a Jefferson County burglary case, had previously been given a no-contact order by Judge Amber Wolf. Although the couple was still being sued, she made a special exception to the injunction after Ashley Roeder gave birth. Wolf asked Ashley Roeder whether she would want her husband to enter the courtroom to speak with the little born. Wolf made it clear that she was allowing a one-time exception, not suspending the no-contact order, so James Roeder may meet his kid before being sent to Todd County. Wolf adds, "This is your son," as he holds the child up. And Judge Amber Wolf made the following remark to her staff when James Roeder held his son for the first time in court. "If y'all aren't teared up, you're just heartless." Number 1. John Bunn. After being exonerated of murder 27 years after being wrongfully convicted as a teen, this man rightfully sobbed in court. The 41-year-old John Bunn sobbed as he thanked a New York judge for clearing him of murdering corrections officer Rolando Neischer in 1991. Although Mr. Bunn, a Brooklyn resident, was granted parole in 2009, he persisted in trying to clean his record. He was exonerated after former investigator who looked into Neischer's murder was charged with fabricating testimony, faking evidence, and coercing confessions. On the basis of the testimony of the lone witness Robert Croissant, a second correction officer who survived the shooting, Mr. Brunn and his companion, Rosian Hargrave, who were 17 at the time, were found guilty of killing Neischer. And now when the free man recalls the incident, it still shakes him with fear. 14-year-old Brunn, who was out of school for the summer, was prepared for an ordinary day of playing ball and practicing his infamous backflips within a 4-block radius of his mother's apartment on Ralph Street. His entire world was those 4 blocks. And all of a sudden, there was a bang on the door, and it was the police. And the tragedy that started from the door knock finally ended up with an emotional court trial. And the list ends here, so I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Maybe hit that little like button if you did, and don't forget to share it with your loved ones and your friends. If you're just discovering our channel, then it'd be super dope if you could click the bell icon and subscribe so that, you get updated when we post new stuff. We hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.